Dobrodošli, ja sam Azra Hadžić, a ovo su priče koje izdvajamo u ovom izdanju Jazeera Svijeta. Obilježena godina od smrti Iranke Mahse Amini i velikih protesta. Šta se promijenilo? Sve veći priliv afričkih migranata koji riskiraju život prelazeći Mediteran. Italija traži snažniji odgovor Evropske unije kako bi ih spriječila u tome. Znakovni postao 12. službeni jezik u Južnoafričkoj Republici. Prije godinu Iran su zahvatili protesti nakon smrti djevojke Mahse Amini. Umrla je u pritvoru nakon što ju je uhapsila vjerska policija zbog navodnog kršenja strogih pravila odijevanja za žene koja su na snazi od Iranske revolucije 1979. Vlasti su saopćile da je doživjela srčani udar, dok osobe bliske djevojci tvrde da ju je policija pretukla te da je umrla od posljedica zadobijenih povreda. Dopisnik iz Teherana govori šta se promijenilo u godinu dana nakon njene smrti.
Walking the streets of Tehran and many other cities across Iran right now, you wouldn't immediately be able to tell that there were protests happening last year. But there are definitely differences, mainly in how women are dressing, whether they're covering their hair or not. To counter this, the authorities have also made some moves with the redeployment of the morality police. I'm Jazeera Svijet, online correspondent for Al Jazeera English based in Tehran. And between us, the impact of Mahse Amini's death is still fresh in everybody's minds. It's now been a year since Mahse Amini has died. She was a young woman who came to Tehran, the capital, with her family. She was stopped by the morality police. She was arrested, taken to a re-education center, but a few hours later, she collapsed when she was in that center. She was taken to a hospital, and within 3 days, she had passed away. And within several days after that, protests had formed across Iran, and people were chanting her name. I was surprised by just how much international attention this issue got. There were a lot of demonstrations in many countries. A lot of international players and figures and celebrities, civilians got involved. It was especially surprising for me personally to see some Western leaders, for instance, French President Macron, calling these protests a revolution. And that was something that especially drew the ire of Iranian officials who condemned this sort of rhetoric. Growing up in Tehran, the rules on enforcing hijab and on women have been largely consistent, but there have been gradual shifts over decades. We had different forms of patrols in the streets that were being run by different organizations. And over time, they all merged into one force, that is the morality police. For the past few years and up until last year, their operations were more or less consistent. You would see their vans from time to time in city streets or city squares. But since last year, everything's changed. A lot of women, especially in Tehran, in the streets, in cafes, in cinemas, everywhere, are choosing to forego their headscarves. Some of these women have them around their necks, so maybe they can quickly put them back up if a police officer or somebody warns them, but some people are not even carrying them anymore. For months, the morality police were no longer very visible in the streets of Tehran and other cities, but right now, it's been over a month that they've been back enforcing their rules, but in a less confrontational way. The authorities are also focusing on a cultural aspect, so you'll see a lot of banners in Tehran and everywhere encouraging people to have their hijabs on properly and comply with the rules. There have definitely been changes, but the main rules that enforce a mandatory hijab in Iran have not changed. As part of its response to the developments in the past few months, the government and the judiciary and the parliament have been discussing a new hijab law. And this new law appears to include new financial penalties and other kinds of punishments for women. We don't have the details yet. We don't know when it's going to be implemented. Another recent development is that a number of professors in universities have been expelled or otherwise let go from their positions. And it does seem to be directly related to the protests and their support for protesters. Iran has seen several rounds of protests in the past few years, but never had they seen such intensity and such scale, and it hadn't gone on for months on end like this. And Mahse Amini's name always was at the center of this. And some of the women I spoke with said that this was a basic human rights issue for them. They wanted to decide how they want to dress and whether they want to cover their hair or not, and they just wanted to take control for themselves.
Gotovo 126.000 migranata stiglo je u Italiju do sredine septembra, što je dvostruko više nego u istom periodu lani. Italijanska premijerka Giorgia Meloni kazala je da je zemlja pod neizdrživim pritiskom, te pozvala na uspostavu Evropske emisije kako bi se spriječilo da brodovi iz Sjeverne Afrike pređu Mediteran i stignu do obala Italije. U 10 godina više od 24.000 ljudi je stradalo pri pokušaju prelaska Sredozemnog mora. U međuvremenu, humanitarni radnici nastoje pomoći ljudima u nevolji, a ovo je jedna od priča zabilježenih na Sredozemlju.
The Mediterranean Sea is now the deadliest migration route in the world. In the last years, more than 25,000 people lost their life. And this is only the number that we know.
I'm not afraid of death because then I know that I'm already dead. The only solution is the sea.
There are a lot of people that die at sea, and we don't even know about their stories, their life, their names.
MSF team, let's get ready for rescue. Let's get ready for rescue.
This sea, it has become a graveyard. Every second, every minute is important, and this is why to be quick means to be able to rescue many lives and many people as possible. The rhythm of rescue in this rotation has been very intense. We had 11 rescue in 3 days and a half. For sure there is a constant fear for the people that are there, because they are of course desperate and fighting between life and death.
Hello! We're from Europe! Everyone is good?
We need to make clear that we are not Libyan Coast Guards. This is something that they always say. I prefer to die at sea than going back to Libya.
Please sit down, everyone.
Women and children, double deck. A good copy. Over.
All those boats, they're not made to cross the Mediterranean. They're completely overcrowded. It's really like a miracle to see how they could make even few miles. Imagine that you are escaping from a situation and you put all your life in maybe one bag, put yourself and your family on a boat, hoping you will not lose your life at sea.
Last one?
Last one. You have it?
Oh, yes.
I'm a sailing teacher, and I wanted to put in these skills for this humanitarian and political action that we are having at sea. I decided to do this because of the politics of migration that Europe has, and it's something that could be completely avoidable. We know that there are thousands and thousands of people fleeing from Libya every day, even now, and there is not a coordinated action to search for those people and to rescue them. Basically, the search and rescue operations are left only to NGOs that organize themselves.
Guys, we are here to rescue! rescue you, okay?
I was afraid to die this water. The sea and the sky, they look like each other.
We will rescue you, okay? Guys, really, eh? واحد واحد. One by one.
I was very nervous and afraid. I only pray God, come and hide me, please. I'm not afraid of death because I know that I'm already dead. The only solution is the sea.
The engine, when we are arrived near the international water, the machine is stopping.
When I saw Joe Biden, they say, hey, I was very happy. I don't know, it's God. It's God. It's a miracle of God.
I will never forget when they are coming to saving us. Some people that are crying, you know, because we are staying in the water 8 hours. We did not have anything, no water, no food. There are really heroes. There are really heroes.
There are not heroes in this job. There is just people trying to help the others, knowing that there is an unfair situation going on every day at sea. The last people we rescued, they reported that they've been at sea for 3 days. They departed from Tripoli. They were at sea for 3 days under the sun and with no water, with no food. They were completely exhausted. Bridge, Orca, we are proceeding to Jordan. Ready?
Okay, ready, bridge, you are proceeding to Jordan.
We're gonna take the center block.
Like the bridge.
For Joe Barent, it's the first time that we have this amount of people. We have now on board 659 people, including 170 minors and 4 newborns, a lot of unaccompanied minors, a lot of families.
This is my friend, baby. When I see the woman and small and children, you know, I feel this so sad. Why life is so hard like that? Why? Ask myself every time, every moment.
Among the survivors, there are 20 different nationalities. They should be disembarked in a place of safety. We don't recognize Libya as a place of safety.
Libya now is the most dangerous place in the world.
In Libya, there are a lot of different mafias and militias, but also different authorities. They take advantage of the desperation of the people trying to escape from their countries and to reach Europe. And it's a business made because there is not a safe way to get in Europe.
They will kidnap you and go and sell you. Do you know that goat is expensive more than human? Like slave, they treat us like slave. If you don't have money, you're dead. One day I was in prison with my friend. They come and take 4 people. And one of the men shoot them with Kalashnikov, shoot them, and they go and bury them.
A lot of people, they report that they have been tortured in a video or during a call with their families in order to get more and more money.
Even they make me video, they tie me like this. Then they take a plastic and fire, they burn me on my legs. All this damage. I said, Mom, please help me. I was crying. They said, if you don't pay the money, you will be died with punishment. So I love my mom. She helping me, all of the people helping me to send me that money. I said, thank you. I will never forget that.
To these people that say that we should send back those people to Libya, I would say that it's like to say now, a lot of people fleeing, a lot of civilians fleeing from Ukraine, we should just send them back in the middle of the war. They have in common the hope for a new and a better life, the strength to pass through all they have been through. Poverty, climate change, wars, forced marriage, forced army.
We have sent many times, at least 7 times we have called.
We have no control on the time.
here we also want to disembark as soon as possible, and it's the government that has to give us the green light, and this is what we have to wait.
It can happen to wait several days or even weeks. Psychologically, they still suffer from a lot of violence that they have to been through.
So think about this. Every minute, every hour that you spend talking with your friends, that you spend playing games, that you spend helping us is a minute or an hour that is getting you closer to entering in Europe.
There are also some medical cases that are quite serious. Majority of them, they're very, very weak. It's also something that increases a lot the spread of disease on board. The frustration, the tiredness, it's spreading among the survivors and also among the team, of course. This is a search and rescue boat. This is not a refugee camp at sea, but this cannot last so much time. 5 days we will finish the food. Don't know which kind of solution we can have.
So we have so good news for you guys. We have received a message from the government saying that we can go to
I'm feeling very happy, you know, feeling like crazy.
From the moment in which we start to get closer to the port, they're afraid of not being able to get the refugee status, being sent back to their countries.
My dream is to be accepted, to help my family. I want them to be okay. I want them to say that daddy is the best. Yeah, my brother, yeah. I'm happy, but I'm not so happy. We have many brothers, many sisters who have been died here in the sea. I do not allow anybody to try this journey. It's the most dangerous journey in the world.
I would like to walk and get family and a safe life, beautiful life, peace life. I need like that.
Well, it's quite sad also to hear sometimes the expectations about how it's going to be in Europe, and then knowing that the expectations are higher than the reality.
My first dream is start school. When I will finishing the school, I have more dream, but I will take it step by step, step by step.
Yay, the last one! Well done! Well done.
Allez! MSF team, rescue is complete! Rescue complete!
Gvatemala ima jednu od najviših stopa pothranjenosti djece u svijetu. Prema podacima UNICEF-a, gotovo 50% mlađih od 5 godina pati od hronične pothranjenosti, a u nekim ruralnim zajednicama i do 80%. Aktivisti i neprofitne organizacije kao glavni problem navode raširenu korupciju, a ne manjak resursa. Mnogi se nadaju da će pobjednik nedavnih predsjedničkih izbora, Bernardo Arevalo, čija je predizborna kampanja bila fokusirana upravo na borbu protiv korupcije, ozbiljno pristupiti rješavanju krize.
Visoka stopa siromaštva, otežan pristup zdravstvenoj njezi i adekvatnoj prehrani te nedostatak obrazovanja faktori su koji doprinose pothranjenosti. Vladini programi koji nude pomoć vrijedan su resurs.
Principalmente en estas actividades lo que se lleva a cabo es atención médica, se brindan los servicios de salud como desparasitación, suplementación, atención nutricional.
Prema podacima UN-a, potrebe za hranom u Gvatemali dostigle su historijske nivoe.
Health authorities here in Guatemala say one of the biggest challenges to combating malnutrition is accessing rural areas, adding that the places that are most in need are often the hardest to reach.
Teren u ovom dijelu države može biti ekstreman, ali 17-godišnja Heidi lahko savladava strme puteve koji vode do njene kuće. Kaže da je vladina pomoć donijela olakšanje, ali njenoj porodici i dalje nedostaju osnovne potrepštine.
El agua más que todo no es potable y hasta ahora que ha habido un poco agua, gracias a Dios también con la lluvia y porque no hay mucha escasez de agua aquí.
Stručnjaci u Gvatemali krive korupciju kao jedan od pokretača pogoršanja siromaštva i krize sa opskrbom hranom ugroženih.
Ya llevamos 4 gobiernos que nos han sumergido más y más y más en la corrupción. Se está gastando el dinero en lo no necesario y estamos dejando de invertir en lo más importante para este país, que es sus recursos humanos, los niños. Entonces se está malgastando el dinero.
U Gvatemali svaki drugi maloljetnik je pothranjen. Kako se situacija pogoršava, neprofitne grupe su se uključile da pomognu tamo gdje su vladini napori podbacili. Stručnjaci za brigu o djeci kažu da bi se, bez ove pomoći, situacija mogla dodatno pogoršati.
Y de junio a septiembre más o menos. Y ahorita estamos pesando y tallando para ver cuál ha sido la evolución. Pero sí creo que estarían peor porque en casa hay muchas casas donde la alimentación son bolsitas gaseosas. Cosas que no nos traen nada bueno a la salud.
Stručnjaci upozoravaju da bez hitne akcije nove predsjedničke administracije najsiromašnije zajednice u državi imaju slabu nadu za budućnost s više hrane i izgleda za uspjeh.
Poljoprivrednici u regiji Sumi na sjeveru Ukrajine izloženi su neprestanoj prijetnji. Napade ruske artiljerije, tenkova i dronova stanovništvo opisuje kao sistematsku kampanju sijanja straha. Priču donosi Zein Basravi.
Vrijeme je žetve u ratom zahvaćenoj Ukrajini. Rad na otvorenim poljima u blizini ruske granice nosi rizik od nagaznih mina i neeksplodiranih granata. Jednim okom pogleda uprtog na zemlju, drugim ka nebu s kojeg prijeti opasnost od ruskih dronova i projektila.
Люди, людські життя – це перш за все. Тому поки ми розуміємо, що це відносно безпечно, ми працюємо. Якщо буде ризик для життя, ми будемо...
U brojna poljoprivredna dobra u regiji Sumi se ne bi smjelo zalaziti. Rusi su ondje ostavili municiju za sobom, a minsko-eksplozivne naprave su postavili Ukrajinci. Tatjana je izgubila 27 grla stoke kad su Rusi granatirali njenu zemlju. Opisuje kako napadi izgledaju i kaže da Sumi treba pomoć.
Вони нас бачать, вони встановили відеокамери, і вони літають постійно кожного дня на дронах і дивляться, що тут відбувається.
Damage from artillery and shelling is fairly common in places like this in the Sumy region, and that's because we're only a few kilometers away from the border. Russian positions are said to be just beyond those power lines behind me. But this is not a normal front line. There are no tanks or trenches or troop movements. Nonetheless, communities here say they come under attack on a near daily basis.
Čim smo dospjeli ovdje, granata je ispaljena iz drona na obližnji mrežni predajnik. Korak ka sve većoj izolaciji. Lokalna škola je oštećena, a jedina bolnica uništena. Stanovništvo živi u strahu.
Strašno, сильно очень. И что еще сказать? Ну, думаю, каже, виїжджати будуть з дітьми. 2 дітей у мене. Менше 4 роки, скоро 4 роки буде, ну, ще буде 9 місяців.
Poljoprivrednici kažu da će deminiranje teritorije trajati godinama i može početi tek nakon rata. Rusija nastavlja zasipati sela u blizini granice. Eksplozije su sada dio njihove svakodnevnice.
Južnoafrička Republika ima novi službeni jezik, znakovni. Više od 4 miliona ljudi koji imaju probleme sa sluhom nada se da će im usluge sada biti pristupačnije. Znakovni je 12. službeni jezik u toj državi uz Zulu, engleski i druge. Ali mnogi vjeruju da je potrebno još mnogo rada na uklanjanju društvenih barijera. Fahmida Miller detaljnije iz Johannesburga.
Učenici ove škole za gluve i nagluve u Sovetu kažu da je ona utočište za njih. Ovdje se uveliko koristi znakovni jezik, što im olakšava sporazumijevanje i čini da se osjećaju uključenima u društvo. Sada kada je znakovni jezik zvanično priznat u Južnoafričkoj Republici, ima nade da će se više od 200 učenika ove škole, kao i šira zajednica osoba sa slušnim problemima, time okoristiti. Iz vlade kažu da na ovaj način žele promovisati inkluzivnost i zaštititi prava gluvih i nagluvih.
They are so happy. You will hear for yourselves. They are so happy because they will tell you that if the government can introduce sign language as a subject, even in the mainstream, not only in the deaf schools, also in the mainstream, they need to learn sign language so that they can learn sign language. It can become easy for them to communicate.
U Južnoafričkoj Republici živi više od 4 miliona gluvih i nagluvih, ali škola za njih ima tek 40-ak. Iako novi zakon znači da će vladina ministarstva i službe morati da omogući upotrebu znakovnog jezika onima koji to žele, to sa sobom nosi niz izazova.
One, we have very scarce interpreters. We have very low number of sign language, professional sign language interpreters in this country. Two, the education system in the deaf school still needs a lot of work. So we still have to empower and for deaf people who can go to university study.
Aktivisti poručuju da je potrebno još mnogo rada na uklanjanju društvenih barijera.
South Africa's recognition of sign language is a milestone. Supporters say it's an acknowledgement of the culture and identity of the deaf community, especially on a continent where only 3 other countries have done the same. Famida Miller, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
Bilo je to sve u ovo sedmičnom izdanju emisije. Naše priče potražite i na internetskoj stranici balkans.aljazeera.net. Doviđenja.